Every day, millions of people drive on highways at 130 kilometers per hour, separated from the car in front by less than 2 seconds of reaction time, trusting a system they barely understand to keep them alive. That system is adaptive cruise control, and the technology at its heart is the same technology that guided missiles to their targets, tracked aircraft across continents, and allowed warships to defend themselves against supersonic threats. Radar. Today we are going to show you exactly how your car uses radar to see what you cannot, to measure the distance and speed of every vehicle ahead of you, to calculate whether you are about to crash, and to act faster than any human being ever could. Conventional cruise control, the system that has been standard on cars since the 1970s, does one thing. It maintains a constant speed. You set a speed, the system holds it, and you remove your foot from the accelerator. It is simple, effective, and completely blind to everything happening around you. If the car in front of you slows down, conventional cruise control does nothing. You have to brake manually. If you do not react in time, you crash. This limitation made conventional cruise control genuinely dangerous in heavy traffic, because drivers using it could easily become complacent, trusting the system to manage a situation it was never designed to handle. Adaptive cruise control, also called ACC or radar cruise control, solves this problem by giving the system eyes. Instead of simply maintaining a speed, it maintains a gap, a safe following distance between your car and the vehicle ahead, automatically adjusting your speed to match the traffic flow without any driver input. The technology that makes this possible is millimeter wave radar. The radar system on a modern adaptive cruise control-equipped car operates at a frequency of either 24 GHz or 77 GHz, frequencies that correspond to wavelengths of approximately 12 mm and 4 mm respectively. These frequencies were chosen for several specific reasons. At these wavelengths, the radar beam is narrow enough to focus on individual vehicles ahead without picking up returns from vehicles in adjacent lanes. The wavelength is short enough to provide the resolution needed to distinguish between a car at 150 meters and a car at 152 meters. And critically, millimeter wave radar penetrates rain, fog, snow, and dust far more effectively than optical systems like cameras or Lidar, giving the radar reliable performance in the weather conditions where a driver most needs assistance. The radar unit itself is typically mounted behind the front grille or bumper of the car, hidden from view but with a clear line of sight to the road ahead. It is a compact unit, typically about the size of a paperback book, containing a radar transmitter, a receiver array, and a processing chip that performs the calculations needed to extract useful information from the radar returns. The fundamental principle of radar operation is straightforward, but the engineering that extracts precise distance and speed measurements from the returning signal is extraordinarily sophisticated. The radar transmitter emits a continuous stream of radio waves towards the road ahead. When these waves strike a vehicle, they are reflected back toward the radar receiver. The time between transmission and reception, the round-trip travel time of the radar pulse, tells the system exactly how far away the reflecting object is. Radio waves travel at the speed of light, 300,000 kilometers per second. A round trip to a vehicle 100 meters ahead takes just 670 nanoseconds. The radar system measures this time with extraordinary precision and calculates the distance to within a few centimeters. But distance alone is not enough. The system also needs to know the relative speed of the vehicle ahead. This is where the Doppler effect becomes critical. The Doppler effect is the change in frequency of a wave when the source or the receiver is moving. You experience it every time an ambulance passes. The pitch of the siren rises as it approaches and falls as it moves away. Radar uses exactly the same principle. When a radar wave strikes a vehicle that is moving toward or away from the radar source, the returning wave has a slightly different frequency than the transmitted wave. The difference in frequency, called the Doppler shift, is directly proportional to the relative speed between the radar and the target. By measuring the Doppler shift of the returning signal with extraordinary precision, The adaptive cruise control radar can calculate the exact speed of every vehicle it is tracking, and therefore whether those vehicles are moving faster, slower, or at the same speed as your car. This continuous measurement of distance and relative speed, updated many times per second, gives the system a complete, real-time picture of the traffic situation ahead. But the radar environment on a real highway is far more complex than simply tracking one vehicle ahead. Every radar system faces the challenge of false targets, radar returns from objects that are not relevant to the driving task, but that the system must correctly identify and ignore. Metal crash barriers running alongside the highway generate strong radar returns that could be misidentified as stationary vehicles. Overhead gantries carrying road signs create brief radar returns as the car passes beneath them. The metal mesh of bridge structures creates complex reflections. Puddles of standing water on the road surface can create unexpected radar reflections. And in heavy rain or dense fog, the radar signal can be partially absorbed or scattered, reducing its effective range. The signal processing algorithms in a modern adaptive cruise control radar are designed to handle all of these challenges simultaneously, distinguishing between a stationary vehicle blocking the road and a stationary crash barrier at the side of the road, between a real vehicle slowing down ahead and a momentary reflection from a road sign. Tunnel entrances present a particular challenge. As a car approaches a tunnel, the radar may detect the tunnel walls and ceiling as solid obstacles and apply unnecessary braking. Modern systems use map data and GPS position to anticipate tunnel entries and adjust their behavior accordingly. The sophistication required to handle the real-world radar environment of a busy highway is one of the most significant engineering challenges in automotive sensor design. Subscribe now, because what we are about to show you is how the system uses this information to make decisions faster than any human driver could. The adaptive cruise control system does not simply track the vehicle directly ahead. It tracks multiple vehicles simultaneously, building a complete picture of the traffic environment in front of your car. The radar can typically detect vehicles at ranges of up to 200 meters ahead, across a detection angle of approximately 15 to 20 degrees. The processing system classifies each radar return, distinguishing between vehicles in your lane and vehicles in adjacent lanes, between moving vehicles and stationary objects, between real vehicles and radar clutter. Once the system has identified the vehicle directly ahead in your lane, called the target vehicle, it calculates the time gap between your car and the target. Time gap is calculated by dividing the distance to the target by your current speed. A time gap of 2 seconds at 130 km per hour corresponds to a following distance of approximately 72 meters. The driver selects a desired time gap, typically between 1 and 3 seconds, and the system works to maintain that gap regardless of the target vehicle's speed. The control system that translates this radar information into actual vehicle behavior is a sophisticated feedback loop involving the engine management system, the transmission, and the brakes. When the target vehicle is far enough away, the system accelerates to maintain the set speed. When the target vehicle slows down and the time gap begins to decrease, the system first reduces engine torque, closing the throttle and allowing engine braking to slow the car. If engine braking is insufficient, the system activates the brakes, typically through the same hydraulic system used by the driver, but controlled electronically. Modern adaptive cruise control systems can apply braking force sufficient to decelerate the car at up to 0.3 G. If a more severe deceleration is required, most adaptive cruise control systems will warn the driver and prepare the brake system for maximum force, but will hand control back to the driver for the final hard braking. This is an important limitation. Adaptive cruise control is designed for steady highway driving, not for emergency stops. The evolution of adaptive cruise control over the past 2 decades has been driven by the integration of camera and Lidar sensors alongside the radar. Radar is excellent at measuring distance and speed, but it has limitations in terms of object classification. A camera adds a visual dimension. It can read the shape of objects ahead and distinguish between a vehicle, a pedestrian, a cyclist, and a road sign with a level of accuracy that radar alone cannot match. Lidar, light detection and ranging, adds a third dimension, building a precise three-dimensional map of the environment ahead using pulses of laser light. Modern driver assistance systems fuse data from all three sensor types simultaneously, using radar for long-range distance and speed measurement, cameras for object classification and lane detection, and LiDAR for precise spatial mapping. This sensor fusion approach gives the system a richness of information about the driving environment that no single sensor could provide alone. The specific implementation of adaptive cruise control varies significantly between manufacturers, and the differences reveal fundamentally different philosophies about the relationship between the driver and the machine. Mercedes-Benz Distronic Plus, one of the earliest and most sophisticated adaptive cruise control systems, uses a combination of long-range radar and short-range radar to provide coverage from close range to over 200 meters, and integrates with the steering system to provide active lane-keeping assistance alongside the speed and gap control. Volvo's Pilot Assist system takes a more conservative approach, explicitly designed to keep the driver engaged and attentive. It requires the driver to maintain a light grip on the steering wheel at all times and disengages if no steering input is detected for more than a few seconds. Tesla's autopilot system takes the most aggressive approach of any production system, using a camera-only sensor suite without radar on its newer vehicles, relying entirely on computer vision and neural network processing to interpret the driving environment. Tesla's approach has been controversial. Critics argue that camera-only systems lack the reliability of radar in poor visibility conditions, but Tesla maintains that a sufficiently advanced neural network can match and eventually exceed the performance of multi-sensor systems. The debate between camera-only and multi-sensor approaches is one of the most significant technical controversies in the entire autonomous driving industry, and it has not been resolved. The safety impact of adaptive cruise control has been extensively studied, and the results are striking. Studies consistently show that vehicles equipped with adaptive cruise control and automatic emergency braking have significantly lower rates of rear-end collisions than vehicles without these systems. A 2019 study by the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety found that vehicles with forward collision warning and automatic emergency braking had 50% fewer rear-end crashes than vehicles without these systems. But researchers have also found that, as with ABS, the availability of adaptive cruise control can change driver behavior. Some drivers become over-reliant on the system, reducing their attention to the road in the belief that the car will handle any situation. This over-reliance is one of the most serious challenges facing the automotive safety community, as these systems become more capable and more widespread. The road from today's adaptive cruise control to fully autonomous driving is defined by a 5-level framework developed by the Society of Automotive Engineers, SAE Levels 0 through 5. Level 0 is no automation, the driver controls everything. Level 1 is driver assistance, a single automated function like adaptive cruise control or lane keeping. Level 2 is partial automation. The system controls both steering and speed simultaneously, but the driver must remain attentive and ready to take over at any moment. This is where most modern vehicles with advanced driver assistance systems currently sit. Tesla Autopilot, Mercedes Drive Pilot in certain conditions, and similar systems are all Level 2. Level 3 is conditional automation. The system can handle all driving tasks in specific conditions, and the driver does not need to monitor the road continuously, but must be ready to take over when the system requests it. Mercedes-Benz became the first manufacturer to receive legal approval for a Level 3 system, Drive Pilot, in Germany in 2021 and in Nevada in 2023. Operating at speeds up to 60 km per hour in specific highway conditions. Level 4 is high automation. The system can handle all driving tasks in a defined operational area without any driver intervention, even if the driver does not respond to a takeover request. Several robo-taxi services, including Waymo in parts of the United States, are operating at Level 4 in geographically limited areas. Level 5 is full automation. The system can handle all driving tasks in all conditions, anywhere. No production vehicle has achieved Level 5. And despite decades of promises from technology companies and automotive manufacturers, the timeline to Level 5 autonomy remains genuinely uncertain. The gap between Level 4 in a defined area and Level 5 everywhere has proved to be one of the hardest engineering problems ever attempted. The adaptive cruise control system in a modern car is not just a convenience feature. It is the visible tip of a technological iceberg, the most accessible expression of the sensor fusion, artificial intelligence, and real-time control systems that will eventually power fully autonomous vehicles. Every time you set your cruise control on a highway and feel the car gently slow as the traffic ahead thickens, then accelerate again as the gap opens, you are experiencing the same fundamental technology that will one day drive the car entirely on its own. The radar that sees what you cannot, the algorithms that think faster than you can react, the control systems that respond with more precision than your foot on the pedal, they are all there, already working, already keeping you safer than you realize. The autonomous car is not a distant future technology. In many ways, it is already here. It is just waiting for the rest of the system to catch up.